You're welcome to today's class. We are moving on to a new topic, and the topic is the use of adjectives. As usual, we will take some hints on adjectives. Thereafter, we are going to have questions for practical section. Now, let us take the hints on the use of adjectives. First one, adjectives are words we use to modify nouns or pronouns. You must know that we use adjectives to modify words or pronouns. Okay? Now, second point. This section, therefore, tests the ability of the students to use the correct forms of adjectives. So, it is not just to know that, yes, an adjective modifies a noun or pronoun. There are some variations that you watch out for. Okay? Point 3, or hint 3. Comparative and superlative adjectives will be examined. The rules guiding their usage include the following. So we want to look at some of the rules guiding the usage of comparative and superlative adjectives. Now let's take the first rule on comparative and superlative adjective. One syllable adjectives use ER for comparative adjectives and EST for superlative adjective. That is, if the word has one syllable, for example, tall, the word tall, it will be the comparative form, that is, if you are comparing two things, will be taller. Then, if it is more than two things you are comparing, to be tallest. That is the point. So, for one syllable adjectives, we simply add ER and EST, and then maybe make some alteration if necessary. Then we'll look at rule number 2. Now, if the adjective has more than one syllable, except the ones that have two syllables and they are ending in Y or ER, we use more and most. Let's take the word studious, for example. You won't say studious or for comparative. What you will say is more studious. And then for the superlative, more than one thing, you will talk about most studious. So that is it. Now, but what of disyllable? That is for any word having more than, that is a word having more than one syllable. But there are some disyllabic words, that is words having two syllables and ending in Y or ER. These ones will still retain the use of ER and EST. For example, tidy. You won't say more tidy, most tidy. Of course, not that people don't use it, but the standard form should be tidier, tidiest. So, and then, for example, clever. The standard form is cleverer, cleverest. Okay, so apart from those words ending in disyllabic words ending in Y or ER, all other disyllabic or polysyllabic words use more and most. Now, note that the above rules do not cover comparative and superlative adverbs, at least not totally. We may begin to think of their own, forms. For example, if you take the word slowly, slowly has two syllables, and we just said that since it has two syllables and ending in Y, you should add ER or EST if it's an adjective. But for an adverb, it can be so. You can say the snail is slowlier than the hen, for example, no? Because it's an adverb, you use more and most. So the rules we have used now are only totally applicable to adjectives, not adverbs. Then you also need to note that we have that there are irregular comparative and superlative adjectives and adverbs. But we're concerned with the adjectives. You have adjectives that may even be one syllable, yet they will not add ER or EST. Let's take much, for example. There is much water in the pot. If you are comparing the amount of water, it's been used as an adjective now. What sort of water? Much water. If you are going to compare, if it's comparative form, you say there is more water. More now becomes the comparative form of much, but there it's being used as an adjective and it has one syllable. So even at that, there are some irregular ones. Now, you will remember that this topic, the use of adjective, has been taught on this website. So please search it out and then you can learn a whole lot more about the use of adjectives. Now we'll take the next hint. That is that the order of adjectives will also be given attention. Now, knowing that the standard order of adjectives therefore is given below. What is the standard order? If you have a number of adjectives modifying a noun, what will be the order? The first item that usually comes is size. The first item that comes usually is size, except little. But such other adjectives of size as small, big, tall will come, but little will not. Alright, then adjectives of general description such as beautiful can come in here, except adjectives of personality and emotion though. Then we have next on that is age, and the adjective little can therefore come. Then we have the adjective of shape coming next. Then of color, of material such as you say velvet, a beautiful blue velvet cloth, piece of cloth, a beautiful blue velvet. Velvet now is the material we're talking of. Alright, then origin, for example Nigerian, that's the origin, comes next. Then of purpose, adjective of purpose. These are not actually, for example, even the material is not actually adjective, but it's adjectival. It's functioning as an adjective. That's it. So we'll also consider it as an adjective. Then of purpose are not actually clear case adjectives too, but they are ing participles serving as adjectives. Such ones will come at the end. For example, we talk of a big, beautiful ironing board. The ironing is a participle functioning as an adjective but telling you the purpose for which the board is used. So it comes at the end. So this is a fairly standard order of adjectives. We'll come across questions on order of adjectives. Simply refer to it and then it will become easy for you. Now, we're moving on to the next point here. The articles, that is definite and indefinite articles, are special adjectives and will also be given attention. That is, we will take questions covering them. There are things, among others, we need to note about them. So we'll do this briefly. The first point, the indefinite articles a and I are used before countable singular nouns. That is, anytime you use a singular noun that is countable, you ought to add indefinite article. Just that most time we hear people say them without an indefinite article. For example, you can hear somebody say, I bought egg. It's supposed to be, I bought an egg. Or I bought shirt. It ought to be, I bought a shirt. Every singular noun usually takes an indefinite article. That is singular common noun. Okay, that is the usual thing. Alright, so take note. And of course you should know the difference between a and an. We use a before where it's starting with consonant sounds, while and we use before where it's starting with vowel sounds. Alright, that's a fact you ought to know by now. Then the next thing we need to note, the definite article the can be used before singular countable nouns, plural nouns, and uncountable nouns. Now, what does that mean? We can say the ball, the egg, the house. These are singular countable nouns. We can also say the balls, the eggs, the houses. These are plural nouns. Okay, these are plural nouns because it's only countable now that you make plural, so we don't even need to say plural countable nouns. Then we have and uncountable nouns. We can say the water, the oil, the water, the oil, and any other uncountable nouns. We can use the definite article before anyone. However, when we use the definite countable noun, it shows specification. It shows that something is being specified, hence the name definite. You are definite about that thing. Now, the definite article has some special functions, such as being used before one compound nouns with all phrases. For example, the University of Benin. You don't say University of Benin. You should add the definite article the University of Benin, the University of Nsukka, the University of Ife. But if that noun does not have the off phrase, then you don't need to. For example, we can say Delta State University, not the Delta State University, Delta State University. So you want to take note of that. We also use the definite article before countries with combinations. That is, most countries, if you have a country that seems to be a combination of lands, then in most cases you use the definite article before such countries, such as the United States, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom. So you can see that we're talking of United States, number of states or lands have come together. The Netherlands, a number of lands have come together. United Kingdom, a number of lands have come together to form a kingdom. The Philippines and some others. So take note of that. Then we also use the definite article before unique items, such as the sun, the earth. These are unique items. So we use the definite article before them. A thing which is the only one in the locality also takes the definite article. So you say the market. As soon as you say the market, it means there's no other market in that locality. Or the post office. When you say that, it means there's only one post office, because if there are two, then your listener or the addressee will ask you which one. Okay, so, or the stadium, meaning only one stadium in that locality. There will also others, we include other words you use the definite article before, include the Bible or Bible, devil. So we don't just say Bible. Where's my Bible? You say, where is the Bible? You can't just say, where is Bible? Where is the Bible? Then you won't. Devil. You don't just say devil is a wicked spirit. You say the devil is a wicked spirit. So that is the point. So take note of this, among other things you need to note about the articles. Now we take the questions on the use of adjectives. The first one there, the school authority dismissed him for dash, but I won't tell you about it yet. Now, what should be the option we need to use? Let's look at option A. The school authority dismissed him for certain reason. Should that be our answer? No. Why? Because here we have certain as an adjective, we have reason. But this reason is a countable singular noun. And so it needs an indefinite article for it to work. So we take option B. In option B, you actually have an indefinite article, a reason. The school authority dismissed him for a reason. That can be an answer. But there's a better answer among the options. So we'll hold on and see whether that is actually a better answer than B. Now we'll look at C. The school authority dismissed him for more reason. More here is used as an adjective, a comparative adjective, but it's coming before a countable noun in such a way. Actually, it's not being used as a syllable in a comparative way. Alright? It's simply used on its own as comparative form. And that being the case, and what is modifying it's not actually coming. What is modifying now is a reason and is countable. We need to there's need for S to be here, more reasons. So we can say more reason. Usually it must be plural now when you use the word more in this format. So option C is out. Now we look at option D, which is our answer. The school authority dismissed him for a certain reason. Now take note of the other part of the sentence, but I won't tell you about it yet. So there's a certain reason that is not being disclosed. So that emphasis makes option D the answer to question number 1. Now we'll take question number 2. The old man was rushed to hospital when his blood pressure dropped to dash level. Now what should be our answer? Should it be the old man was rushed to hospital when his blood pressure dropped to dangerously lowly level? Not possible, because if you do that, what you are using are two adverbs. And an adverb does not modify a noun, pressure. It's an adjective that does that. So we need an adjective to come before pressure. So we can take A, dangerously lowly level. Then we take B. Should it be drop to dangerous lowly level? Also not possible, because the word lowly is an adverb. It's dangerous, that is an adjective. But the adjective is not coming before an adverb. The adverb not being the one modifying the noun pressure, which is not possible. So option B is also out. Then we look at option C. Blood pressure, his blood pressure dropped to a dangerously low level. Now, if you take that, we take that as our answer. Why? Because we have the word low, which is an adjective. Low level. Now the word dangerously is an adverb, and you know that an adverb modifies an adjective. So what do we have here? The adjective dangerously is telling you how low. So it's describing or modifying the adjective low, while the adjective low is modifying the level. What sort of level? Low level. So our answer is option C. But let's have a look at option D. Dangerous, low level. When his blood pressure dropped to dangerous low level. This sometimes can work. That is using two adjectives before a noun. But since we have option C, which is a better grammatical construction, option C goes. That's one reason. The second reason, even when you use two adjectives like this, which are not usual conventional collocates, then you put a comma to mark them off, and we have no comma for option D. So option D is not our answer to question number 2. Our answer is option C. His blood pressure dropped to a dangerously low level. Now, we take question number 3. People dislike Mariam because she's dash. Now, what are our options? Trickful, trickish, tricky, or a tricker? Now, we look at option A. People dislike Mariam because she's trickful. Well, that makes some sense, but there's no adjective as trickful, so it can't go. What about trickish? That is not correct. Now, but we hear people say he's trickish. That is wrong expression. There's no adjective as trickish. However, we have an adverb, trickishly. We have adverb trickishly, we just add ly. We have a noun, I think trickishness, that which is different from the noun trick. They have different meaning. Yes, we have a noun, but there's no adjective as trickish. So that rules out option B. The adjective we have is tricky, which is our answer. We have tricky fellow, a tricky person, but not trickish. We have, although note, trickishly for the adverb, and then we have tricky for adjective. Our answer to question number 3 is tricky. People dislike Mariam because she's tricky. Question number 4. This question is on comparative and actually superlative adjective. Of the three girls, meaning more than two, so it can be comparative. Uka is the dash. Of the three girls, Uka is the dash. Now, should we say of the three girls, Uka is so much naughty? No, that is way out. That construction is very, very clumsy. So we can't take option A is out. Now let's look at option B. Of the three girls, Uka is the most naughtiest. Now, should we take that? No. Now, why shouldn't we take that? After all, we have the superlative element in them. We have most, we have est. Now, the reason is that you can't use the two forms of superlative construction, most and est, at the same time. So it's either you have most naughty or naughtiest. So you simply pick the right one. So because of that overuse, we cannot take option B as our answer. Then of the three girls, we have option C now. Of the three girls, Uka is the naughty. We can't use the base adjective when you are talking of comparative or superlative adjective. And naughty is the base adjective. So that rules out option C. Okay, now option D is our answer, which has the superlative form of the base verb, base adjective, naughty, naughtiest. Now, why do we pick est instead of most? The reason is that the word naughty is a disyllabic word ending in y, and you know the rule is that a disyllabic adjective ending in y takes est. So of the three girls, Uka is the naughtiest, is our answer, option D. Now we'll take question number 5. The old man's speech has become completely dash. Now what should we take? Here our question is on adjective, but the right form or the right way to spell it. Not necessarily just spelling, it has to do with a whole lot of things. But basically, which is the right adjective to use here? That is the thing. Because we have also issues concerning morphology. Which form of prefix should we use? On or in? That is one. And then what about the suffix? Should we use IBLE or that's IBLE, or we should use IVE? That's another issue. So we have issues concerning morphology there within this work that dwells on adjective. Now, so if you know your adjective, you should know the right answer. So we have A, uncomprehensible. That is, there's no word like that. Uncomprehensive. Maybe we can have a word like comprehensive, but even if we have it, comprehensive means something different from comprehensible. And we are talking of speech. So when we talk of speech, comprehensive is something that is expansive, something that is complete, or elaborate. That is why you say comprehensive. Now we may have its prefix to be un, but in that case it will not work within the sentence. And so we'll move to option C, incomprehensive. Incomprehensive will not work because the in, of course, will be it's not the right word here. When we have the IVE gives you entirely another meaning, and this prefix used here obviously is wrong. Now that takes us to option D, incomprehensible. That is our answer. That means the speech cannot be understood. It's difficult to understand the speech of the old man as at that time. So our answer is option D.